Hello, this is Elmer Moore, and I'm the project team leader for Scale Up Milwaukee, and we're doing another Google Hangout with an ambitious business owner. Derek, why don't you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Attorney Derek Hawkins. What I do is I own and operate my own boutique business law firm here in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And just to give you a brief summation of what I do is I help and facilitate the process of starting a business for entrepreneurs, ongoing businesses as well, geared towards small business owners and startup companies.
So, this is going to be a fun conversation because it's almost like business inception. You are a new growing business
Yeah.
that's helping other new growing businesses start and grow. So, what I like to focus on in this conversation is what you're doing to grow your own business. But let's begin the conversation at the beginning. Why did you decide to start a law practice?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. Having my own law practice was always I guess you want to call it the go-to plan for me. I just didn't really feel like I'd be doing it so soon. I graduated in a really, really tough legal market. It was just a situation where the market is very saturated with a lot of attorneys, but it's not necessarily a lot of work for those attorneys. So instead of being reactive, I decided to be a lot more proactive in my approach. So to make a very long story short, what I did was actually started my own consulting business my last year of law school. Um, and to that end, I was writing blogs for law firms, helping with contract work wherever I can find it, and pretty much just doing any here odd job that I could find, just so I can actually have a skill set to build upon when I graduated from law school. That transitioned into me actually becoming barred after I graduated. And instead of actually seeking an associate position, I decided to just start my firm myself because I felt like I had the skills to do it, and I like that freedom.
I love it. So, first off, you did the kind of thing that I want to hear other businesses do, which is you started your business with customers.
Yes, correct. It made it a
That,
lot easier, I can tell you that.
I love it. I love it. So, run me through your day to day. What are you going to do tomorrow to grow Hawkins Law Firm, Law
Sure.
Offices?
Surely. Actually, today is one of my growth days. What I've done is I set aside Mondays and Fridays to work from home. There's two parts to why I do that. One, I can spend some more time with my son. He's 2 years old, and I don't want to miss any of those key moments. And so Mondays and Fridays, I spend half the day with him. And then once he goes down for his nap, I focus on two action items. One, I write some piece of aesthetically pleasing content that I'll post up on my Twitter page. And then I'll also write a blog that I'll either post this week or the following week, just so I have steady content going forward. Now, it's been kind of hard for me to stick to that schedule, especially as work has been piling up. But January 1 of 2016 is something that I really want to implement and hit the ground running with, so that on a consistent basis, I'm at least having two refreshing pieces of content to post on all my social networks and my website to keep people updated on what's going on. Aside from that, one of the biggest breadwinner, at least for me in terms of marketing, has been networking. Going to every event, making sure that my face is readily available and people know my name when we talk about business law. If you ever see my business card, it actually has a big plastered picture of myself going like this on the front. So I really try to take there it is right there.
This card
um,
right here.
Absolutely. I guess I try to took a real estate agent's approach in that regard, just because I feel like it's a fresh take on the legal profession. And just I want to market myself differently than most law firms have been doing so.
So, if you could talk to other business owners out there about using some of the practices that you're using to grow their
Mm,
own businesses, how would you suggest that they cater your approach to work for them?
mm. Well, I guess this will be the typical attorney answer you'll get is it depends, specifically on your industry. But I will say there are some things that I feel would be inherent in any business that you do. Having a sound plan to actually implement it and complete a project, whether you're an SEO optimization company or firm, advertising, whether you're selling food to different customers, whatever the case is. One thing that I found is really important is having a set of systems in place that automate whatever it is that you do. I'm actually in the process of doing that now. And for me specifically, it's administrative work. So in my specific context, that will be client intake, billing, invoicing, sending messages back and forth with my clients, maintaining my folders throughout the cloud and so forth. So what I would say is try to leverage whatever technology is out there right now that may be specific to your industry. There's a plethora of different type of third-party websites and applications I can use for my firm that have just made the process tremendously easy. And I'm sure there are for other types of industries as well. So definitely look out there for any type of package, whether it's an actual app or a rep application that can help you streamline some of those really tedious tasks that prevent you from doing the work that you want to do. Definitely take advantage of those because it definitely has been a lifesaver for me.
That's interesting. I wonder if there's any things that you tell your clients to do
Mm,
or you suggest to your consulting clients to do that
mm.
you struggle to do yourself.
Oh, it's very funny, and I feel like a lot of lawyers have, at least in my conversation with a couple of my colleagues, we tend to all be in this boat where, we're in a position where we've gathered a wealth of knowledge that, impart on our clients and to counsel the people. But when it comes to taking it ourselves, we tend to kind of put the shutters on and just kind of, oh, I'll just wing it and figure it out. So it's definitely an issue to, or it's important for you to just have that period of self-reflection. You may be helping others, you may be selling a product to other people, but there needs to be a time where you come back to yourself and look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I do personally, or what can I do in my role as a founder, president, owner, organizer, whatever the title is of my company, to make sure that I'm also taking the advice that I'm giving out. Because we're all we're all in the business for a specific reason. We've all have our own experiences and our own specific expertise. Why not take advantage of the expertise you're giving the others?
Yeah, I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
And for the record, you're safe. MBAs are the same. I think the only sector that's seems to be uh, vaccinated against not practicing what they preach are accountants. I feel
Mm.
like a lot of accountants are good at doing their own taxes.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So let's talk to the folks watching. I mean, what is the thing you'd want to tell them? You're a lawyer. You're growing your
Mhm.
business, but as a lawyer, what's the thing that these small LLCs are
Mhm.
forgetting to think about?
Well, I can tell you one of the biggest thing, and I'm glad you said LLCs. LLCs are the easiest way to start a business. It's simple. You can, especially in Wisconsin, you can go online to the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions website, fill out a couple forms, and you pretty much have a full-fledged recognized business. But people think that that's the only step, which is a grave injustice to your business model. And I'll just this will be a little bit of a nugget of, I guess, legal I can give you guys. Whenever you start an LLC, after you actually file your article of organization, which is the document that pretty much is the birth certificate and the DNA for your company itself, the next step is always going to be creating an operating agreement. And an operating agreement is simply the law of your business, pretty much, to put it in layman's terms. So if you don't have that agreement in place, what's going to happen is when it comes to issues of distributing funds to partners or allocating losses and profits for the year, dissolution of your organization, the length and duration of your organization, how you add new members, how you get rid of other members, how you vote on certain actions for the company itself. All of that will be governed by the default state provisions. The good thing about those provisions, though, is that they all defer to an operating agreement if there's one in place. So it really doesn't make sense to just go with the standard when you pretty much have the flexibility to create your own governing body for your actual organization. And one of the problems that people run into when they don't have that in place is, let's say, let's say Elmer, me and you get into business together, and we don't have this this plan in place, and I put up 50% of the money, you put up all of the cap, you put up all of the real estate property, whatever the case is, to the business. I feel like I'm entitled to more than you, and I'm sure you feel the same. What happens? We have no document to look to. We end up in a nasty battle in court, and there's something that can be really easily mitigated if you had just some governing document that said, well, if there is a dispute between members, X is going to excuse me, X is going to happen, or Y is going to happen, or whatever the case may be. So that's definitely the biggest issue I've seen, particularly in the last 6 months, with the clients that I've been having. That's happened quite often.
That's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty confident that I would win in a competition between you and I, um, just because I'm taller. So,
Hey, I got to represent
so
for the
I,
short guys.
yeah, right. I want to talk about why we're here, which
Mm,
is why you're located in the Milwaukee 7 region, right?
mhm.
I think you're in Milwaukee and in Waukesha County. Is that correct?
Correct.
And why would you have a business here?
Sure. Well, it's I guess another small interesting story. I'm not from Wisconsin, not Milwaukee or any of the areas I'm in currently. I'm actually from New Jersey. So I moved here in 2010 to attend Marquette University Law School. I graduated and moved back to New Jersey, but then shortly came back. Um, And what I noticed when I came back is that there really was a booming entrepreneurial ecosystem within the Madison and Milwaukee markets. And I really didn't see a lot of boutique firms like the one I'm trying to create that existed to cater to those specific needs that startups and entrepreneurs and small business owners have. Now, the big firms, they all do have departments that can help you, but typically what happens is they'll kind of pawn off an associate on you to do that work while you're getting billed at a higher rate possibly. So I saw a real need there and a way to fill it. And for me, I've always had a business background. So when I first started my practice, I was really trying to find, okay, which markets can I cater to that'll have the specific clientele that I'm looking for? Because it really would make sense for me to go and, pitch my fork for all these, type of corporate businesses and tech companies, in farmland country in northeastern Wisconsin somewhere. It really wouldn't make much sense. So that's one of the main reasons why I picked this specific market. It's just a matter of the population and the type of business owners that, currently populate the area.
So I think that's great. I think even your awareness that there was a gap in the market and your confidence that the market could support you in a growing business even says a lot. What's your recommendation for what we can do to make this region even better for businesses to grow?
Sure. Education, I think, would be the biggest thing. One obstacle I faced when I started my business was just lack of access to it. I did go to law school. I do have a business administration and management background as well. But one class that I'd never even seen that was offered, I saw that was offered, excuse me, was an entrepreneurship class or, a business formation 101 type of class. I could talk all day about legal theory and about the different organizations and what they are. But when it comes to sitting down and actually figuring out, okay, here's my action item to start my business, pretty much a blank. So one thing that I'm trying to implement now currently with a couple of my colleagues is some type of, I don't know whether it be maybe weekly webinar, a course we can disseminate to different people, just a checklist item, a line by line checklist of, okay, here's what you need to start a business from beginning to end to actually get up and have it running and have yourself protected at the same time. So I feel like if there's more programs in place like that, more organizations, like Scale Up that are giving owners access to mentors and capital and actual actionable items for growth, I feel like there'll definitely be a big change in that regard.
Fantastic. So Derek, let's wrap it up. Any final thoughts to share with the audience?
I'll just say, if you're thinking about starting a business, it's a daunting task. Absolutely. It's definitely a plunge, as many people will characterize it. But if you're going to take the plunge, just make sure that you're doing the right things to protect yourself, protect your business interest, and protect your personal assets as well. A lot of people will shy away, and this may be a self-serving statement, but a lot of people will shy away from hiring an attorney because of costs. But I will say that it's kind of penny wise and pound foolish to do so, because what you don't want to have happen is spend all this time and effort, maybe raise some capital or give up your own capital for your business. Business is booming, and then a legal issue arises, inevitably, which they do, for better or for worse. And you don't have the proper foundation to either accept or defend yourself in that specific situation. And trust me, it's much worse when you're actually established and just paying a little bit more upfront to mitigate that risk down the road.
I think that's brilliant advice that actually applies to new businesses and existing
Absolutely.
businesses alike.
Absolutely.
One of the things that we see a lot in this market is acquisitions. So it's a very popular market for transitions from parents to children, or original owners and founders to private equity firms, or even solo buyers. So thank you so much for speaking to us today. Again, Derek Hawkins from Hawkins Law Offices. And I am Elmer Moore, the project team leader for Scale Up Milwaukee. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Take care.